Okay, so this is a quick video on how to properly set up for a barbell bench press. So a few things I see with people who are doing a bench press, a lot of the time they'll have their feet up off the floor and on the bench. And also when they're nearing the point of failure, when they're doing a bench press, when they're in the middle of a set, their feet will start tap dancing all over the floor. So ideally what you want to do is when you're in the setup position, you want to have your feet pulled back on the floor behind your knees. So I'll show you that setup in a sec in the next video. You want to have your back arched up off the bench and your chest in an upright position or pushed up. And then what you're doing is when you're when you're lowering the bar down to your chest, it's like you're rowing the bar down to your chest. And then when you're pushing up off your chest, you want to be pushing your feet through the floor and squeezing your glutes together. Okay, so just one other quick point with the barbell bench press setup. If you do have your feet up off the floor, resting on the bench, you won't be in a very stable position. You'll see the bar start to rock all over the place, and you'll also find it very difficult to go up or achieve a decent weight when you're using that setup. The other thing too, you want to have your lower back or your lumbar spine in an arched position, so you'll be able to fit your arm under between the bench and the bench and your back. You don't want to have a flat back on the bench. I know that's taught by a lot of people, but if you do have a flat back on the bench, your lower back can go into flexion, which you don't want when you're bench pressing. You also want to have your scapula flat on the bench, and then you're really retracting your scapula when you're pulling the bar down or you're lowering the bar down to your chest. So try those couple of points, and I'll demonstrate them in the next videos. Thanks. Okay, so you can see here, feet up on the bench, not a very strong position to be in, very unstable. You'll never be able to lift a whole lot of weight when you've got your feet up on the bench. Also, you can see they're flat back on the bench as well, flat lower back, so no lumbar curve there. So with this example here, you're going to see tap dancing. So this is obviously an exaggerated version, but you'll be surprised what you actually see with some people in the gym. So here, what I'm doing here, feet right back behind the knees, pushing my feet through the floor. And the next example, we're going to show arching the lower back. So we're putting my arm, my hand right below or right through my lower back. So there's a gap between my lower back and the bench. Bar off the rack, and you can see here I'm bringing my shoulder blades flat onto the bench and squeezing them together. So that's the ideal position you want to be in when you're starting.